blood in the streets. Blake darts across rooftops, avoiding the main rush, swiping sets or throwing knives before vanishing. Tony and Martha clash right through the fray, Martha's claws ripping through crates of supplies. Lady Gaga distracts a group with a blinding flash from a sequenced flare. Before grabbing food and a pistol, Bubba chainsaws Roar to life as he slices through combatant shields, accidentally drawing the attention of zombies. Okay, I never specified there were zombies, by the way.
That's fine. Or accurate.
Sorry. Freddy Krueger lunges at Herc, but Herc fights him off. Freddie Mercury and Donkey Kong have a brief team up. Biker clubs Butthead in the jaw. Before leaving him bleeding and unconscious, Beavis flees screaming. Booker shoots a zombie before it bites Sayori. Fascist Santa Claus throws a crude bombs at Ornega, but it bounces and detonates against the police station wall, killing Beavis instantly. Okay, good, they're dead.
Yay.
Piccolo suddenly snatches a backpack from Mekon before vanishing into the back alley. Okay, night one. Mr. Footsteps. Mr. X's footsteps echo down the main street where Raphael Nadal hides underneath a car. Palpatine watches from the balcony, noting where the giant stalks. Bubba Chainsaw, still running, draws Mr. X's attention. He sprints into a store, only to find himself trapped. Lady Gaga trades supplies with Yen Yen for a night spell to help navigate. Freddie Mercury sings quietly. But the sound attracts a lone zombie, forcing Donkey Kong to crush it with one punch. Booker sleeps in the locked office. That's your good idea.
Yeah.
Sayori, Mekon, and Yen Yen form a safe group, all anime characters.
True.
Tony and Martha ambush Piccolo, but he escapes by smashing through a boarding window. Is that a bug?
That's what he says.
No, that'd be fun. This is that a bug? Jumps through a boarded up window.
True.
Biker kills a World War I pilot with a quick ambush, mistaking his helmet for zombies. The pilot's never found his invisible plane. Ornega and Wesker reluctant. Oh yeah, Wesker's here.
Oh yeah. And his
Ornega and Wesker reluctantly team up, agreeing to share intel. Freddy Krueger stalks Blake, but loses her immediately after. Herc accidentally wounds himself trying to pry open the locked door. Bubba tries to sleep in the church, but Mr. X enters and crushes him with a single blow.
Damn.
Freddie Mercury fends off two zombies with his mic stand, saving Donkey Kong.
W team.
Fascist Santa is seen slipping into the police station. Alright. Tributes, you are advised to remain mobile. Tyrant class bioweapon is in an active pursuit. It will not stop until half of your numbers are gone. The tyrant Mr. X in trench coat and hat is hunting in the open now. His footsteps echoes for blocks. He's fast enough to keep up with his sprint. Blake Belladonna is moving quietly, along the fire escapes, and she sees him below. Held tilting, scanning the streets, she freezes, then watches him suddenly break into a run towards the distance, screaming. Why would what?
Huh.
Okay, so uh, Butthead miraculously has survived being beaten in the head with a bat. He
I
is
see.
handed had wandered into an alley with Beavis's blood still on his shirt. Mr. X slammed into a wall. Okay, so much for that.
All right, cool. Good.
Tony and Martha try to outmaneuver Mr. X by smashing through a pawn shop, but Tyrant punches straight through the wall like paper. Tony throws a frag grenade, which only slows Mr. X. Lady Gaga is caught in an abandoned diner when Mr. X bursts through the door. She hurls a metal tray into his face and then bolts through the window, cutting her arm on the glass. He just ignores that. just what the?
Yeah.
Freddy Krueger attempts to stalk Booker, but the sound of the scuffle draws Mr. X. Freddy flees down the sewers with an entrance. Oh, that's not a good idea.
Yeah. Those are
While
a
Booker
big crocodile.
dives into a dumpster to hide, Freddie Mercury and Donkey Kong hear the tyrant's footsteps while scavenging the grocery store. Donkey Kong rips through the vending machine off the wall and throws it to block the aisle, buying them just enough time to escape out the back. Alright. Biker ambushes Raphael Nadal for supplies, but the sound draws Mr. X. Nadal pushes the biker into the monster's path and runs. Tyrant grabs Biker by the skull and smashes him into the pavement. Herc tries to hide from the boarded up gas station with Sayori, Beacon, and Yun Yun, but the heavy footsteps stop right outside. The wall caves in. Mr. X reaches for Herc, who manages to wriggle through, losing his backpack in the process. Fascist Santa Claus plants bombs to narrow the street and it hides inside. The tyrant walks through both explosives without slowing down. Piccolo lures the tyrant into a construction site using the cranes and debris to keep his distance. He slips away when the monster gets tangled in a net of steel beams. Wesker manipulates Nega to help him push a car across the alley to block the tyrant. They succeed. They succeed to block the alley. Unfortunately, Mr. X simply climbs over the car.
Okay. Yeah.
Blake teams up with Lady Gaga temporarily. Freddy Krueger is thinking he's safe in the sewers and hears a metal walkway above creek. Mr. X is standing above him. Freddy backs away. S. That's all it says. Night 4.
Okay. Yes.
That's what it says. How many people died from Mr. X? That's hella lame. Whatever.
Not a lot.
Wednesday comes face to face with the tyrant. She simply tilts her head and ducks into a manhole before he can swing. Herc, separated from the girls, gets cornered in the alley. His crossbow jams. Mr. X crushes him against the wall. Donkey Kong and Freddie Mercury run to Fascist Santa mid-escape. Santa throws a bomb at Mr. X, blowing the parts of steel apart. Ugh. Mr. X seemingly starts patrolling elsewhere, his footsteps still in the distance. Blake stalks rooftops, tracking Wesker and Ornega from above. She considers taking them out, but decides to wait. Tony and Martha find a boarded up mechanic shop atop the. Oh, dude. They find a boarded up mechanic shop and stop to tend Martha's wounds. Tony uses scavenged medkits from the police cruiser to patch her up. Lady Gaga, exhausted, sneaks into an old clothing store where she changes torn clothes into a more dazzling red gown. Freddy Kruger, limping from his injury, starts picking off lone zombies, keeping himself sharp. He doesn't notice Piccolo trailing him. Freddie Mercury and Donkey Kong raid electronics shop. Freddie grabs a working megaphone. DK grabs a bag of batteries. The megaphone provides a useful for luring zombies. Santa Claus stalks the streets, muttering about eliminating degenerates.
Okay.
Sahari's absence is still felt. Mikon has grown visibly more withdrawn without her. Trailing behind Yun Yun with her head down. Wesker and Arnega settle in an abandoned bank. They light a small fire, but the glow catches Mr. X's attention once again from blocks away. By the time they hear their footsteps, he's almost at the door. They douse the fire and hide in the vault until he leaves. Freddy Krueger makes his move on Piccolo, ambushing him in a narrow alleyway before he can ambush him. Piccolo blocks his attacks, though, carrying with a solid kick to the ribs, forces Freddy to retreat. Mikon accidentally knocks over a shelf in an old shop, noise echoing down the block. Draws inside of a small horde. Small horde of zombies. But also the footsteps of Mr. X. She and Yun Yun barely escape. Freddy Krueger and Donkey Kong is gifted a flashlight by fascist Santa Claus. Lady Gaga spots a book on a balcony. They form a small alliance. Piccolo crossing paths between Tony and Martha. They don't fight.
Green.
Freddy Krueger, bitter from his failed attack on Piccolo, tries to sneak into the clock tower to ambush Mikon and Yun Yun while they are asleep. He kills Yun Yun quietly, but Mikon wakes up to see him standing over her. She screams, and the noise brings Mr. X, who grabs Freddy mid-swing and smashes him into a wall.
Damn.
Mikon flees into the rain alone. He's coming in clutch.
Yeah, true.
Wesker, cold and calculating, slips to the bank where Omega's body still lies. He scavenges the supplies, whispering to himself about the survival of the fittest. Far away, Blake sees Mr. X cross the intersection underneath the flickering street light. Wait a second, I have a cool idea. That actually is kind of lame at the same time.
What is it?
How long didn't Hunk have 15 minutes to get to the helicopter?
I don't know.
Alright. Doesn't matter.
You're giving them a timer.
No, because this is chapter 4, and for chapter 5, I'm gonna have them all go to the sewers, where Hunk is basically where Hunk would be, and they all have to race basically to the helicopter.
Let's see.
Any thoughts?
Sure.
Alright, because it's just boredom,
Yeah.
But more than the streets are no longer survivable. The dead are everywhere. A combination of standard zombies and faster mutated one. Over the loudspeakers, the game makers announced tributes. The surface is compromised. Seek shelter or be overrun. The sewers access points have been opened. The tributes hesitate. Everyone knows the sewers of the Raccoon Cities have their own reputation. But the growing roar of the horde above forces their hand. Blake slips down into a manhole first, moving silently, scouting the tunnels ahead. Tony Green and Martha Hall themselves down another entrance, Tony muttering, "If this thing can fit, I'm shooting until I can run dry." If this... What? That makes no sense. Alright, whatever.
Uh,
Lady Gaga descends into the muck in her tattered gown, making a face, keeping her crossbow loaded. Freddie Mercury and Donkey Kong climb down together. They're in a gay relationship. The fact is Santa Claus. That's not what it says. But
I know.
Santa
It's
Claus
funny to
falls
think about.
quietly home, with, singing a warped carol underneath his breath. Batman sings himself to sleep. Mikon,
Iconic.
Mikon, pale and shaking from the events of the previous night, drags herself down the ladder. Wesker and Piccolo descend separately, neither trusting the other. I feel like, aren't they similar in some regards? Booker takes the longest route entering the
Probably,
storm
yeah.
drain. The tunnels smell of rotten chemicals. The water is waist deep in some areas, and the echo makes it impossible to tell who's nearby. Blake spots fresh claw marks on the concrete, big ones. She doesn't like what that means. Tony and Martha take the lead in one tunnel. Headlights on. Headlights on. Headlights on Martha are turned on, apparently. Rifles ready. Tony mutters that he keeps hearing something big moving behind them. Lady Gaga accidentally startles Mikon, nearly earning herself a crossbow bolt to the chest. Freddie Mercury singing softly. Freddie Mercury is singing softly to keep morale up. I thought I said Freddy Krueger at first.
No, I think I did.
Yeah, Booker wading through the waist-deep water sees a ripple ahead. He freezes. A massive mutated alligator bursts in the water.
Yeah.
But Santa Claus, watching him nearby, tosses an explosive gift at the beast. The blast stuns it, knocking Booker back into the water. One bite and he's gone. The alligator turns towards Santa, but a well-timed strike from Donkey Kong with a rusted pipe drives it back into the depths. The tributes fracture into smaller groups. Blake, Lady Gaga, and Mikon move together, heading towards the rumored ladder to the surface. Tony and Martha patrol their own route, laying tripwire traps behind them. Uh, Wesker shadows Piccolo, staying just far enough back to avoid being spotted. Freddie Mercury and Donkey Kong stay near the entrance, deciding the risk of heading back onto the surface once the horde passes. Santa Claus wanders alone. Blake's group gets separated by water surges, sweeping Mikon into a side tunnel. She screams and disappears beneath the surface. Tony and Martha make it to the surface platform, but Martha takes a hard knock against the wall in a rush and goes limp. Tony drags her up, gasping. Wesker tries to climb the maintenance ladder, but Piccolo reaches it first and kicks him back into the current. Wesker manages to grab onto the pipe, surviving but losing all of his gear. Booker and Mikon Samudi die.
Dang. Yeah. What the hell?
Okay.
Yeah.
The survivors, battered and desperate, must navigate the wrecked streets, now both clone zombies and rival tributes, to claim their last chance of survival. They have to race to the helicopter being nuked. Ow. Blake moves like a shadow, avoiding firefights and scouting ahead. She knows speed and stealth will be key. Tony, grim-faced, with Martha barely alive, chooses to push through direct combat, refusing to leave his companion behind. Lady Gaga, energized and fierce despite everything, uses this. I swear to God, if Martha wins. Um, and flare guns to shoot clear paths and confuse foes. Donkey Kong barrels forward, smashing through debris and zombies. Freddie Mercury rallies our group, singing battle cries, inspiring them to move faster, but he knows the endgame is brutal. Wesker and Piccolo form a tense temporary alliance, willing to betray each other at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Santa Claus, cold and calculating, lays traps and mines. Yun Yun is gone, Mekon drowned, and the others lost. And the survivor knows this is no longer a game. Okay? Gunfire lasted. Gunfire lights the night. Yeah. As tributes clash, explosions from Santa Claus creates fire breaks at it and alter the battlefield constantly. Blake narrowly escapes a firefight between Tony and Wesker, using the chaos to slip closer towards the police station. Lady Gaga and Freddie Mercury coordinate to distract and disable traps from fascist Santa Claus. Donkey Kong smashes through a barricade, crushing two zombies and blocking Piccolo's path temporarily. Only 6 tributes remain as they converge on the police station. Blake, Tony, Lady Gaga, Donkey Kong, Freddie Mercury, and Wesker arrive nearly simultaneously. The rooftop is battered but clear. The helicopter waits, its rotors spinning, the pilot urging haste. Santa Claus sneaks into the last moment, Danny is found trapped, sending debris filing. A brutal melee breaks out. Tony throws Martha in front of himself as a shield, swinging his rifle like a club. Donkey Kong uses raw power to hurl both Freddie Mercury and Lady Gaga off balance. Wesker lunges for Blake. She dodges and slices him with swift precision. Only 2 remain. Blake, Belladonna. After the fighting stops, only 2 components are left. Or components.
They all die off screen.
Basically, they all get like hurt, badly damaged, basically, or hurt enough that they can't move. I know. There's Martha in front of him, so the shield. Donkey Kong uses raw power. I mean, yeah, Donkey Kong. I assume when he says off balance, it might be like off the because they're trying to get to a helicopter. So I think this is just a thing of the only 2 that can make it, type of thing.
I see.
Only 2 remain: Blake Belladonna and Tony Green. The helicopter pilot shouts, "Only 1 seat left. Make it quick." Blake, breathing heavily, eyes Tony and Martha. Oh my God, Tony will not leave Martha behind unless Blake take the seat.
What?
I didn't I can send you. Can I send this entire thing to you?
This is terrible. This is terrible news.